All right. Welcome everybody to a special edition of the Blockbuster movie review. As always, I have Richard Optimus 124 Brown with me as my co-host, and me, Harry, the Mind of Cube Ezel. Once again, I want to give a big shout out to Jimbo Electronics. Go check him out on Facebook. You can search him by Jimbo Electronics. Go check him out. He's a cool dude. He's got a little electronics store. Go hit him up. Today we are reviewing Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. We're going to put a pause on Southpaw, and we might be doing that on next week's show. But for today's show, it's only going to be Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. So, as always, Richard Brown, go ahead and tell the people how you thought about the movie.
I liked it. It's the way that I looked at this movie is it was closer. It's like they're trying to bring it back to how the first movie was, whereas it was more of the espionage elements associated with it instead of Tom Cruise running for 45 minutes, which I don't mind seeing Tom Cruise run because when he runs, he looks weird, but he's going fast. So, I have to give him credit. The only other dude that I think could probably, run with him is probably Will Smith. That's like a close second. But I thought the action was great. The story, it did have its moments where it kind of was like, okay, where are we going with this? And the little twist that the movie had in it with the rogue agent, it was kind of like, I could kind of see that one coming. It didn't surprise me the way that it went. But overall, I have to say I enjoyed it. The action, like I said, again, was good. The story was solid, but I'll be frank with you, it doesn't beat Ghost Protocol. Like, I think Ghost Protocol is still that, like, it's the movie that recharged the franchise. And this movie, I would not. It's kind of like how, you have Fast 5, and then you have Fast and Furious 6, and then you had 7. 7 wasn't a bad movie. It was just so far under what 6 was. It just was like, it's okay. This movie, I would say it's not. It's as good. It's on the same level of what I would say, like kind of like MI3 was. If not, it was a little bit better. I still think Ghost Protocol is the best one, but yeah, again, I'd recommend seeing it.
Okay,
and
yeah.
The good thing about it is I actually saw this movie in true IMAX, not the LIMAX screen that Regal Cinemas talks about. I actually got to see it in real IMAX because in my current location, we actually have a true IMAX theater. So it's the 100 by 70 foot screen. And yeah,
Okay.
I am not seeing anything else. I'm not seeing anything else in any other format. I am sorry.
I'm super jealous because I wanted to go see this movie in IMAX, but the difference between here in Atlanta, the difference between IMAX and or the regular screen is anywhere from $5 to $10, depending on what time of day you're going to go see. And I knew that some of these action sequences were going to be spectacular, but I was like, save yourself the money, spend it on concessions, and I didn't see this movie in IMAX. Now, I saw your facial expression, and I've pretty much seen every movie that's come out in IMAX format that we've reviewed so far in IMAX. I've just been blown away by it, except for this one. And now I'm kind of kicking myself like, I really wanted to see this in IMAX because I'm pretty sure that plane scene was worth the admission right there.
It was.
I'm killing. I might go check it out. I might. Yeah, anyways, let me talk about the movie. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't want to get you.
Yeah. So this movie, I'm in the same boat with you, Richard. I enjoyed this movie. I felt so that this movie, you had to necessarily know something about the current movie franchise, not the TV series, the movie franchise, in order to get this. Definitely Ghost Protocol in order to follow along with this movie. I thought this movie was great. Definitely go see it. I saw it, unfortunately, in regular format, and I still enjoyed the ride. Great action sequences. Again, Tom Cruise is crazy. We'll break down some of the action sequences, I'm pretty sure, in what he did in this movie. It was a good joyride. It did have its minor slow moment in the movie, but that's necessary in any type of espionage film to build some type of why are we doing this point to the movie. You kind of need that to get yourself involved in the story and whatnot. But all in all, it's a great movie. I kind of disagree with saying that Ghost Protocol is the best movie in the franchise. It definitely re-energized the franchise and brought new life back to it. I think that Mission Impossible 2 is the best movie in this movie franchise.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I was blown away by 2. We can get into that later on. I was blown away by 2, and I thought
Hey.
3 was a solid movie still. It just wasn't as good as 2. And then
Okay.
4, I was just thinking, whoa, this is all right. I'm back again. I'm back in the driver's seat again. And then this movie here, it's still not as good as 4. Nowhere close, in my opinion, as good as 2. Better than 3. Better than 1. And it's kind of hard to say that. Everybody looks at the original movie and thinks, okay, how can the sequel be better than the original movie? And the sequel usually falls short. Unfortunately, Mission Impossible, it set the bar really high with a couple of its movies, and then it's trying to catch back up. Like, everything thus far has been better than the first bar that they set. It's just trying to eclipse where they put it after they set the bar. They haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
So I want to go ahead and get into the spoilers of this movie. And as we know, Tom Cruise is crazy. He does all of his own stunts. So
that's official, yes.
Yeah, we know he's crazy. So in Ghost Protocol, if you haven't seen that, guess what? I'm spoiling it. He hangs off the side of a building in Dubai, right? So in this movie, you saw the trailer of him hanging off of an airplane. And I was just thinking, okay, how else do you take that to the next level? And then we see this dude has to do a huge drop into a whirlpool, basically, and swim through it. And I want to ask you, like, when the water started coming back in, because, okay, basically they shut the water off to stop it from turning around, and then the water comes back on, and then he's having to swim in a flowing current. I forgot how fast they say it was going.
Yeah.
Was that CGI or was that actually him doing it? That's the one thing I was like, okay, I really can't.
It may have been some practical, but that I don't know. I don't know even about him jumping into that hole. I'm not sure if that's real or not.
That was crazy.
I mean, because I'm seriously, man. Like, I was watching this movie, and it's like I don't know if you caught it, but Tom Cruise produced that movie. So
he's produced all of them except for the first one.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this is his baby. So I have to give him credit for the fact that he is willing to put his life on the line for his own work. Like, I have to give that man credit. Like, call him crazy all you want, but you got to give him respect. And that's the thing about it, is because he escalates. Like, the second movie he did that rock climbing. Was it the second movie or the third movie?
The second movie, it was the rock climbing, and of course the extra long running sequences where he borrowed Guile and Ryu's moves from Street Fighter.
Right. Okay.
Movie.
I can't remember what the stunt was in the third movie. The fourth movie, of course, we know was the Dubai sequence. Then in this movie, it's like him hanging off the side of a plane. I'm like, one of the movies is going to kill him. Like, I'm just trying to think of what else can you do? Like, there's never been an actor who's willing to put himself in harm's way for the art just to get the best shot. I mean, because they actually flew him 5,000 feet up, I think. Not 5,000, 5,000. It's 500. Excuse me, 500 feet off.
I thought it was. I could have sworn it said only 500 feet.
Yeah, it's 500. I said 5,000. A mile up. That's a mile up. No, that you would not be a mile up. You wouldn't survive that. But
yeah, because I don't think he could breathe a mile up, or he would probably freeze to death.
But yeah, man. And also, I don't know if you caught it, but like the chase sequence that was in the movie, like, I'm sure they had him on some kind of gimbal to kind of like do the biker lean for like the extreme turns and whatnot. But even then, it's like he's still moving at this speed on a bike, regardless if the bike is secured. I mean, he's still on it. I'm just, I got to give like the stunt work and some of the practical stuff. That is impressive. And I have to give Tom Cruise credit where credit is due.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you, because we go and we watch these action movies and we see these great action sequences, but they're always shot from a distance. You don't really get to see the actor's face. And in every Mission Impossible scene, the focal point is on him. Even when you see him run and jump on the airplane, the camera is right there looking at him. And I'm just thinking, I don't think there is you can't put a number on a check to get me to do that. I'm sorry. And I could use the money. I'm sorry. I don't think you can physically write a number down on a piece of paper to say, yeah, I'll do that. So it's shout out to Tom Cruise. And then again, to drive a car in those tight spaces and do those J turns and K turns, I was pretty impressed with that. I'm pretty sure he wasn't in the car when he flipped it over that many times. I'm
no, that was
sure.
CG. That was CG. Hands down, that was CG.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that really wasn't him, but it looked pretty damn cool. And like Richard was talking about, on a motorcycle, doing those extreme leans, it gives you the feel that he's pulling all those G's himself. But like you said, there has to be some type of apparatus holding him up.
He was on something, because anytime you see that shot, it was close up, but it's like they kind of eclipsed a little bit of the tire. So it was close enough to where you could see that it was actually him, but the tire wasn't actually, like, the tire was not in full focus. So they cut the shot well. Like, I have to give them like the creativity of some of the camera work, because they made it seem like it was actually Tom Cruise on that bike.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think what other big sequences were there. I think that was really about, like, those are the main ones, like the ones that Tom Cruise kind of was doing something that, you know, most mortals wouldn't do. Yeah.
Well, I guess the only other sequence we could really talk about is when they're at the opera house and he's up on that small narrow scaffolding.
Yeah.
Fighting. But I mean, we know that was actually him, but I mean, come on, we know there were wires attached to him just in case if he slipped and fell. That one really wasn't. It was still impressive because, you know, they actually humanized himself, because, you know, it's definitely a small guy fighting a mountain of a man. So like when he initially hit him, he just stood there like, really? So he actually they made it seem realistic.
I thought it was funny when dude kicked him like Tom did in the Boondocks episode. Like, that was hilarious. And then he killed him with it. I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. Well, okay. What did you think about that special agent? You know, the female agent that was kind of the rogue agent that, you know, we were supposed to try to figure out if she was good or bad. What did you think about her character, though?
It seems like in each one of the Mission Impossibles, he always has a female love interest. So you kind of knew on the scene when there was no other female character introduced, it was her. So I kind of immediately knew that she was the one that was going to turn on them and whatnot. I thought her character could have been used a little bit differently, because when MI6 basically threw her, oh, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling the hell out of this. So if you haven't seen the movie, please hit pause, come back and watch us, but I'm spoiling the hell out of the movie right now. So when MI6 pretty much threw her to the wind, I kind of knew that, okay, yeah, now you can really see. If you haven't figured out that she's the rogue agent that they're talking about, she's really getting ready to show you her true colors right now on how this is going to play out. And they did it very clever on how they got MI6 to realize that they made a mistake, and how they got the CIA to realize that they made a huge mistake in disbanding the MIF, and then how they got the CIA to realize that, hey, you need the MIF in order to function properly, because the CIA isn't getting the job done. I thought that was great, and I like how they introduced the new secretary for the MIF. I thought that was pretty neat on how they did that and everything, because you got basically the head of the CIA who wants to destroy, disband, and disavow anybody who has anything to do with the MIF. And then all of a sudden now he becomes the new secretary, basically the head of the MIF.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very clever. And especially how I'm not going to tell this because I don't want to give away everything about the movie, but how they got the villain at the end. It wasn't this spectacular, you know, like nighttime, rain falling, moonlight shining in the background, fight to the death type battle, but instead they brought him to justice. And how they did that, I thought was very clever in the way.
I will say that, and that was the one thing about this movie that I did appreciate, is that I remember how we were talking about how a movie, like, if you don't care what happens to the villain, or you don't care about the villain's cause, you're like, or you don't care about the hero's cause in either case. But like, this dude, you just hate him because he's just being a jerk just because he can be. And when he finally gets brought to justice, you're like, oh, that was beautiful. Like you can appreciate what they did and what the time that they took to actually make this elaborate scheme. And the scheme, even though despite the fact that we pretty much know Tom Cruise is going to win, it just seems that when you see it happen, it's like it's plausible. Like it actually could happen.
I think what made it work for me the most was that we're always seeing like villains nearly accomplish their goals in movies or nearly almost bring upon
That's a
destruction. But
good
this
point.
guy was actually winning from the beginning of the movie when he first sit on the screen all the way up until almost the very end of the movie. Every time him and Tom Cruise went head to head, he was definitively winning. He didn't take any L's or there weren't any close matches. It was a beat down of Ethan Hawke, and he's winning. And then at the end, Ethan finally outthought him. So I think that's what made me really connect with it. Because like, what's that movie? Guardians of the Galaxy. What was his name? The Conqueror, the Destroyer.
Ronan the Accuser.
Ronan the Accuser. Like he didn't do crap in that movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
He showed up once, swung his hammer, and then he showed up again and got owned. Like you really couldn't connect with him as a villain right. Because he really didn't do anything. You don't know. Only thing you know is that he serves Thanos and he doesn't want to disappoint Thanos. That's all you know.
Right.
That's all you know. But in this movie, I know they're not in the same genre, but in this movie, the bad guy actually shows up. He's killing people. He's getting what he wants. He's accomplishing all his goals. He just needs this one thing before he can set forth his plan of world destruction. And all of a sudden, boom, MIF happens.
You know what, man? I'll be frank with you. The way that this villain was is how I would have wanted Ultron to be. Like, that was the way I was. Like Ultron would have kind of been like winning, and his voice would have been more brooding. He would have been more sinister, similar to this guy, and that's what made him come. Because it's like you hate him, but you kind of want to like him. Like you just want to, you know, he's winning, but you kind of like, I want to see him get caught, but at the same time you don't, because it's like then you know the movie's over if it happens.
Yeah. So interesting thing. This is a 5th movie in the series. I'm curious to know, how do you rank all 5 of the Mission Impossible movies?
Oh man. I'd have to say, if I was going to rank them, and I'm kind of torn with this one because it's like, I want to put Ghost Protocol up top. Ghost Protocol is going to go up top for me. Let me just call it that way. To me, Ghost Protocol is going to come up top. Then I would say it probably would be this movie. You know what? Here's the weird thing. I'd say it's either this movie or the first movie. I can kind of flip them out because this movie reminds me of the first movie because it's more espionage, more kind of like your backroom deal kind of thing is going on in this movie than versus the others. So either 5 and 1, kind of you can make those interchangeable. Then 3 and then 2. Like 2, I'm not saying 2 was bad. It's just that 2 was, I mean, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I thought it was actually a decent movie. I mean, and I watched it again. I say, you know, go see it. But I don't know, just that's where I would put them at right now.
Cool. So 1, I'm gonna have to go back and watch again because I didn't like 1 at all.
One is so far different from how the series is now because 1 is almost like you were literally watching a spy movie. Like if you took the Winter Soldier and then pulled out all the action pieces, that's kind of what that first movie is. It's like it's all espionage. It's all, you know, this person is really this person. This person's a double agent, and you have to watch out for who this person is. It's more of that, which is kind of what this movie is. And I kind of like that about the first movie because it was, you know, it was the beginning of this franchise, and I actually enjoyed it. It's also the first movie that Tom Cruise started running like he was crazy because that whole aquarium sequence. That was the movie that started out in Tom Cruise.
That was the movie that started off, and I definitely got to go back and watch it.
Yeah, go watch it now because I think to be honest with you, I think that is the first movie he actually had his running sequence, because I remember it used to be like, okay, well, if you got Tom Cruise is running, and then Will Smith started running, but I guess Will Smith just kind of gave it up, and Tom Cruise is like, nope, still gonna keep doing. I'm still gonna keep running. Like Tom Cruise, he runs. Like if there is one person I would say, only thing he's got a very weird run, which is also funny because when what's the name? Jeremy Renner, when the two of them had that one sequence where they were both running to catch the car, I was like, why are they running alike? Like, is this like a CG double? But
so about that sequence, I'm thinking, why are they running like they're trying to compete for the 100-meter dash? You know you're not going to get to a car, right? Let's be real.
Right, and that's what was funny about it because I'm watching, and I'm thinking, wait, what? Okay, I mean, if whatever works for you, I mean, it's cool.
So my ranking is 2, 4, 5, 3, 1.
Okay.
And that's tentative because a lot of people tell me go back and watch 1. There's so many things in 1 that make you appreciate it. And I remember I would agree. I remember I was living back in Charleston, so I definitely hadn't gone away to school. So that's 20 years.
Yeah, go back and watch 1. So, you will have a definite appreciation of the franchise with 1, just simply because of the fact of what it was trying to do. Because you have to think 1 was trying to be like the TV show.
Yeah.
And then Mission Impossible 2 was like, nah, we're gonna start throwing that out of the water. We need to start having explosions and stuff. So, hey, it was great.
All right. So we've come to our senses. Tom Cruise pretty much really doesn't make a bad movie. Now, let's go ahead and give the ranking on this one. This one, I'm gonna collect it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna collect it. I kind of want to go back because I did. I can't even talk right now. What movie did we review last, Richard? I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank here.
Pixels and Ant-Man.
Yeah. So I did say that I would give Ant-Man an A. I'm not even gonna that double F Pixel. Let's not even bring that up.
Double F.
So I kind of want to go back and retract my A from Ant-Man because I want to give this movie an A, but this movie is better than Ant-Man in my opinion. And it's kind of hard to say, I want to make both of those A when they're really not as good as each other. So
I understand.
I want to give I want to give Ant-Man now a B. Still a good movie. Go watch it. Mm-hmm. But I want to give this movie my A rating because it is, so far, this has been my best movie that we've seen this summer.
I can see that. I can actually see that. I would have to say I would definitely give this movie a B. Yeah, I give it a B. I enjoyed it. Definitely worth seeing. There were just. I think what the thing for me about it is, how like 15 years ago, some of that tech would have pretty much been like, yeah, that would have been really really cool. But now you're like, you can't do that. That's implausible. Like there's just some things when you're watching, you're like, no, that's not how encryption works. Wait, you gotta voice pattern a thumb drive on an application that doesn't have, okay, fine, whatever. It's like, the 2D, I guess now that technology is no longer magic. I think that's the problem. So it's like they have to be very, very careful in how they make this franchise continue, because at some point you're gonna have to be like, okay, because people know about encryption. They like these things aren't, these aren't terms that we don't see day to day, because even some of our workplaces have policies on encryption and data security and those kind of things. So when you see talking about, you need fingerprinting and one person do this, like there's never just one person that can do anything. That's just no.
Yeah. I will agree with that.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna hit the I believe button, just because it is there. But yeah, again, I'd definitely give it a B for sure.
Okay, it's cool. So we got The Man from U.N.C.L.E. coming up this weekend. It's going to be a special show again on Monday due to vacation constraints. I'll be on vacation.
Vacation's not a constraint.
Okay, bad choice of words. I retract that. So due to vacation needs.
Okay, there you go. You need a vacation. holding you
Next
back?
week's show will again be on Monday. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I am kind of excited about this movie. I'm excited about Spectre as well, and I'm also Fantastic Four.
I'm gonna see it in IMAX because it's here. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see, and this is gonna suck because now that I've then moved up, I'm going to see everything in IMAX. Unless if it's like a dramedy, then no. But I would go see like when Fantastic Four comes out. I'm gonna go see that. The one I know that I'm most amped to see in IMAX is going to be Star Wars. Like Star Wars is gonna be something dumb in IMAX.
Well,
I can't wait for it.
here's what I challenge you to do. Do y'all have an AMC Prime or Regal RPX?
There is, and I haven't been to that. I haven't been to either one of those theaters. I can just relate to my previous experience or where I was at previously. But yeah, you'd almost feel like when you walk in to a true IMAX screen, it's almost like, okay, someone lied to me all these years. Like it's like you literally feel like you've been betrayed. Like the movie theater industry is literally like just hornswoggled you because when you go into an IMAX theater, it's just like your field of view is basically, negated by the screen by itself. Like you're looking out and it's just screen. You don't see like the walls. You just see screen, especially if you sit in the center at the right point.
So here's my thing about IMAX. Yeah, you hit the hammer on. I'm sorry, the nail with the hammer on that one. You have to sit basically cine theater to truly appreciate it. You also, if the more and more IMAX movies you go and see, you notice that most of the movies aren't entirely filmed with the IMAX camera. So you'll see the screen shrink, and then you'll see the screen expand, and then you'll see the screen shrink again, and then you'll see the screen expand. And I noticed that first on Batman Dark Knight. I noticed that first, that only certain sequences are actually filmed with the IMAX camera. I noticed it again on Transformers, Dark of the Moon, and Age of Extinction. Both of those movies were partially filmed with the IMAX camera. So, like, going to go see a movie in IMAX, granted, the parts that are, when it takes up the whole entire screen and you're completely engulfed in it, phenomenal. I'm not going to take nothing back from that. It is phenomenal. The reason why I want you to go see a movie in Prime or RPX is because the screen isn't as big, but there are far more speakers in those theaters. They even put speakers in your seat and behind your ear where you sit. So you are literally blown away by sound.
I gotta see. The thing is, like, I have to find one of those theaters up here because they had one back, quote unquote, back home. They had one of those, but they didn't have the speakers in your around you in your head, like not in your head, but in your headrest or around your headrest.
Yeah, if it doesn't say reserved seating, I don't think it really is a true Prime or RPX.
Yeah, it's got reserved seating. It's just like the speakers that are actually like around you, or like having a subwoofer under your seat and stuff.
Yeah, the first time that subwoofer hit, I think it was one of the Fast and Furious movies I saw, and I was like, wait a minute, hold up, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, they didn't have it there. I'll find one up here just to see. But I'm gonna be frank with you though. I am going there's going to be a number of movies that I am going to go see in IMAX, and Star Wars is definitely going to be one of them. It's IMAX, not quote unquote IMAX. Like I do RPX before I do IMAX all the time. Picture's a little bit clearer, but I think RPX the sound's better. Except when you go to a real IMAX theater, then yeah, you can't.
All right, so we're wrapping this show up here. Thanks again for everybody for watching. Appreciate you. Once again, go check out Jimbo's Electronics on Facebook. Richard, tell the people how they can find you.
Gplus.2/Optimus124 and Facebook.com/Optimus124.
And as always, you can find our previous shows right there on the link down there on the YouTube channel. You can find me on YouTube under HE3Man or The Mind of Cube or ECubed. All three of them, I have officially proven that they work. You can find me on Google, Twitter, and on Facebook now under The Mind of Cube. So if you type in The Mind of Cube, you're pretty much going to get this. Once again, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for Monday's special show on The Man of Uncle. Have a good one.